Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Youth Intake Challenge at Dulwich Hamlet. First thing I'd like to say is thank you to everyone who subscribed. I think we've just hit 50 subscribers to the channel, which is something I never expected, and it's fantastic. So thank you everybody. It means a lot, and hopefully you're enjoying the saves that are coming on. I'm especially enjoying this one. It's a challenge I've never done before. What we're going to do in this episode is it's Youth Intake Day, so we're going to click through and we're going to get to see what the new intake is like. Just before that, we're going to have a quick evaluate of the players that we've had already from last season, how they've got on. So just a quick touch base with 4 or 5 of the youth players that we had from last season. A quick look at the squad planner so we can have a bit of a what we'd like from the intake, and then we'll get into the intake and evaluate the players. So stick around, it should be a fun episode. Hopefully we'll get a good intake. Either way, this is what we've got for the next season, so we've got to like it or lump it. See you in a minute. Welcome back. We're not going to go through the full fixtures. We'll save that for the end of season video, which follows not too far after this video. But we are currently sat in 8th, which it's unlikely we're going to finish any higher than that. It has been a good season. A little bit better than maybe I thought it would be. I think we'll miss out on the playoffs, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing when you see the state of the squad on the transition. Going into the squad, we've done all right. We've had a few players now, if we sort it by number of appearances. Edward Amayako, one of the youngsters, he's had the most appearances out of all of them that have come through. 45 appearances and 10 goals for the 17-year-old, which is a phenomenal return. He's up to 2-star current ability. He's still got up to 4.5-star potential. So Edward Amayako is probably the front runner in terms of development, the young Ghanaian. If we look at his progress, I mean, he's done a good little curve. He's leveled out a little bit in recent weeks, but I think overall, if we take him over the all-time development, his stats have been pretty good, mostly in the mental, a little bit in the physical, not so much in the technical. But Edwin Amayako, a fairly good player who's developed reasonably well, and I think he'll be a first teamer for a number of seasons to come. So that is one positive from the youth players. Next one we'll look at is Oscar Allen. He came through the last intake as the New Zealand striker. He slid pretty much into the first team. He was injured for the first game of the season, but he's well and truly replaced Richard Pingling. Oscar Allen's played 41 games with 2 sub-appearances and scored 22 goals, and he has the highest average rating of all the players in the team, including his 5 assists. He's currently a 3-star ability, so he's developed quite quickly up until a fairly good player for the first team, and he's got 5-star potential in his development, only 17 years old. Again, he's starting to develop really well as he's got more and more games, but if we look at his development progress, he's on a really steep curve at the minute. He's playing lots of games, which is really good, and I think he's fast catching up with Amayako as being one of the best developed players. In terms of his all-time developments, again, he's probably developed slightly further. He's got a lot of mental stats. He's got a little bit more technical development than Amayako had, and he's still got a little bit of physical development across all his attributes apart from agility and his natural fitness, but his natural fitness is 13 anyway, so it's pretty good. So again, Oscar Allen, we'll try and tie him down as long as we can, but getting that many goals in his first season in the league, let's see what he does next season, because we're going to keep him. Next one of the youngsters is Jake Gilder. He was there from the start, 38 games, 6 goals, 10 assists, up to 2.5 stars, so he's not too far back from where Oscar Allen's developed to, but he's not quite got the potential threshold that Oscar Allen's got. However, his stat development is a little bit better, so he's on a real steep curve. He's constantly going up. He's not really taken much of a dip apart from that area there, but again, he's on another steep curve at the minute. And when you look at his attribute development, his has been phenomenal. Lots of the physical stats apart from natural fitness, which is higher than everybody's at 15 anyway. His stamina looks like it's borderline going to go up anyway. In his mental, he's gone up by multiple stats in a huge range, so he's looking pretty handy at this level in the mental attributes, and his technical have gone up as well. Not touching too many into double figures, but I think his growth rate is pretty exceptional. So Jake Gilder is another one we'll tie down long term. After Jake Gilder, we've got Lolo Atienza. He's our centre half. Again, he's played 21 games, 1 goal, but he's getting more and more first team appearances now. He's going to be a first teamer come next season because our other centre halves aren't going to sign a new contract. So Bingham Williams isn't going to be here and Chambers is going to go, which means Atienza is going to have to be a first teamer. In terms of his progress, again, his curve was pretty good. He went up. He's on a bit of a dip at the minute. That's probably because some of the first team centre halves have come back. He's not got as much game time in recent weeks, but his development in terms of attributes, again, has still been pretty good. Quite a few in the physical, getting stronger, getting a bit of jumping reach is what he needs at centre half. His concentration, decisions and positioning is going up, which is good, and his marking is going up quite considerably. Just need his tackling to pick up a little bit and a bit more in his positioning. I think he'd be a really good player to have around. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on to Dean Spence as number 5 of the players that have developed pretty good. And he's another one who looks really good from the mental attribute side. Again, he's not played as many, 11 games from the start and 11 sub appearances with 2 goals. An alright average rating, but again, his development's probably not been as phenomenal because he's not played as many games. A nice steady upward curve in terms of attributes since he came in. Not as much as some of the others, but it's probably due to limited game time. A little bit of the mental, slight one on the physical, and not so much in the technical. But again, as players go in the summer, I think he's going to get more and more game time next season. I won't look too much into the other ones because they've not played so many games, and as they do play more games into next season, we'll concentrate more on them. What we need to do now is have a look at the squad planner. And the things that jump out immediately is we've got the 2 goalkeepers for another season, so Jack Ruddy and Lakin. So a goalkeeper's not an essential. Ingley and Fredericks in the reserves is playing really well, so his development should pick up in time for them leaving. Left back's going to be a problem. Bingham Williams is going to leave at the end of the season. He won't sign a new contract. Marlon Brophy is the only one who really plays in that position. Maybe Gene Elsey and James Cockins will add to that list. But again, he's not really a flat left back, but we'll integrate him into the squad, but that looks like a weak position, so maybe the youth intake will throw as a lucky one there. Centre half's going to become a problem very quickly. Bingham Williams is going. We're going to have Ekpiteta for another season. Chambers is leaving, so Atienza is going to come first choice. We've got Elsey and Brophy in there, but they've not quite developed yet. However, they have been around for almost a full season now, so we'll see what they do, but we might pick up something useful out of the youth intake, but it's going to have to be something that's coming in at 1.5 stars perhaps. Right back, Mikkel Scarlett's going to be here for 1 more season if we can hold him through another transfer window. Andrew Fontas has got a few more games under his belt, so he's developed in that position. Again, Marlon Brophy's a centre half, so really the fullbacks is what we want to come through this intake. Defensive midfielders, Shikumbi's going to still be here, and Scott, but Alfie Allen's going to leave. They can both play in the traditional centre midfield positions. Riley Scott does like defensive midfielder, but we might end up playing with an advanced midfielder depending on what the intake brings us. Benjamin and Chalmers had a few games on the peripherals, but nothing too great. And you'll see in here John Schaff as well. He's had 1 or 2 games, but he's not had the chance to fully develop. He's at 1.5 star on the right hand side, not so much on the left hand side, but that's role based. So again, we need something to come through because Alfie Allen is going to leave. Right wing, we've got Amoako. He's going to be first team next season. I can't really envisage someone coming in and ousting him, so I'm not too concerned about that position in terms of the youth intake. Then we've got Sean Murray. He can play there as well, and Emmanuel. John Howarth can play on the left more than on the right, but as you see, we've got Jake Gilder, who's already up to 3 star. Dean Spence, who's already at 2 star, and Howarth. So again, left wing's not something we're really wishing for in the youth intake. And then up front, we've got Oscar Allen and Jake Gilder if he can play out. I wouldn't really like to play Jake Gilder there. I think what we'd really like is a good striker to play second fiddle to Oscar Allen, as Pingling is going to move on. And that is the squad really. So what we're looking for is a couple fullbacks, a centre back, maybe a couple midfielders, and a striker is what's on my wish list. He did say we're going to get a 5-star youth intake. What that means, I don't know. We'll see when it comes through. I've not clicked through, so you'll see it live as we go through it. I'm constantly getting questions around transfer window time about who we're going to sign and what position we can strengthen with, but when we're not buying any players, it's kind of a moot point. I'll click through and I'll get it so it's in the inbox, and then we'll see what our youth intake's going to bring. So just bear with me, I'll click through. I'm not going to open it till it's on camera, so don't worry. We'll see what the youth intake brings. Welcome back. So the youth intake email is in. The time has arrived. Everyone's favourite time of year. Let's have a look what we're dealing with. So we've got 3 elite talents. So 6 or 7 top talents, 5 good talents and 1 decent talent. So a fairly good spread. What I'm not really seeing is fullbacks, which is quite demoralising, because it says there we've got some fullbacks. Although we know Yoshi Urasawa is a left back. I can't see a right back anywhere though. There we go, Craig Howard. He's touted as a right midfielder, but he's actually potentially a right back. So we'll have a look at them because they're the positions we need. So let's have a look at them and see what we've got. Starting with the decent talents then. Alan Hughes, midfielder on the right. And we don't really play with a flat midfielder on the right. At first I would say his stats actually look better than I thought they were going to be. He's got a fair number of double figure stats. He's quite good in terms of the physicals. His mental game's not too bad. So in that attacking, what's he looking like pace-wise? Pace and acceleration isn't too bad. Crossing, dribbling leaves a little bit to be desired. We could potentially retrain him to play in that position. So again, in terms of if he's the worst, I'm not too concerned. We might have a couple of good players in here. Who's next then? So Darren Alexander, an attacking midfielder on the left, can play as kind of understudy to Gilder. Good pace, good acceleration, not too far off it on dribbling and crossing. Off the ball and work rate's pretty good. I wonder if we can do a quick comparison. If we just have a look at Gilder. I mean, Gilder's obviously slightly better, but with pace and aerial is a little bit better on Alexander. So again, could be a really good one, that Alexander. Next one, another one on the left. He's a flat left winger. We could develop him to go further forward, but again, good pace and acceleration, good aggression, determination, good work rate. So actually, if we can move him a little bit further forward, again, a little bit of retraining. Welshman, fairly determined. I quite often forget to look at the personalities, but they're very important in how they're going to develop. So again, not too bad. I think he'll fit into the squad nicely. Yoshiaka Sawa, he's down as a no-nonsense centre-back, but I see on his position that he's actually more of a left-back. So if we put him in there, he's fairly tall, good stamina and acceleration. Not so great in the stats for that left-back position, but that's kind of where we need him. If we put him into a full-back and take some stats off, again, that's might where we train him to be as an understudy on the left behind Cockings. I think we've got in the under-18 squad. So quite versatile across the back four, might be a useful squad player, but nothing really to write home about. Alex Clark, centre-half. Again, we need some depth there where players leave. 176, so he's fairly short. Average jump in reach, not too strong. Good position in tackling, marking's alright. Heading's not quite good. Good aggression though for a centre-half. So again, probably not going to be in the team near the first season. A bit of development, he might come good in the second. We'll see. After Alex Clark, we've got Dimos Chatsis, another centre-half. Again, let's see if he's better than Clark or not. A bit taller, good jump in reach. Position tackling's alright. Good determination. Fairly determined player. So I think a little bit of development. I think he'll be alright. He's a little bit older, but again, they'll be competing really for who's going to be the first teamer out of them two as we move further forward through the seasons. That's the end of the good talents. Let's move into the top talents, starting with Travis Roberts, a right-sided winger, inside forward from Jamaica. Good acceleration. Dribbling, finishing, first touch isn't the best. I suppose for this level, it's probably not too bad. I think anything around about a 10, I'd be happy. 15 years old, you've got a long way to develop. But again, maybe as an understudy to Amoako or a third choice to develop for the future. So not too bad. after Travis Ross, we've got Kelly Ajayi, a ball-winning midfielder in the centre mid. I'm hoping he's good because that's an area we really need somebody in. And yes, I like this. He's a fairly professional 16-year-old. He's quite short, but he's got a really good work rate and good at teamwork. All right amount of stamina, some good aggression for being a ball-winning midfielder. He's not quite as quick around the pitch, but I like him. I like his spread. I like his determination. I like his personality. I think he could be a player that comes good in the future. Keep your eye out on Kelly Ajayi. I think he's winning the youth intake so far for me. Following Kelly Ajayi, we've got Jamie Williams, a pressing forward, so perhaps a reserve striker to play behind Allen. What we've got, 172, low determination player. Acceleration pace is alright. It's first. I mean, again, his finishing's 3, so for a striker, it's not great. Maybe a useful understudy or reserve player. He's got 1-star current ability. Could have been so much better, Jamie Williams, but it's not your fault. Craig Howard, this is our right midfielder / right back. Let's I mean, first look, I think he looks alright. If we put him down as a fullback on defend or automatic. Good teamwork, good tackling. Marking and position's a bit low. His physicals are a little bit low, although he's quite fit. I like his mental side of the game. Good decision making, good teamwork. So yeah, potential. I mean, we've got a player in at right back already. Let's do a quick comparison because where is he? Andreu Fontas. So I mean, you see there, Fontas is slightly quicker and a bit more physical, but from mental, aerial and technical, Howard's going to give him a bit of a run for his money actually, because he only needs a little bit of development and he's caught up with him. So I'm liking the look of Howard. I think he might fit quite nicely into the squad. Next one's Joshua Curran, that defensive midfielder, is a ball winner. Again, I'm hoping for some good stats here. Fairly loyal player, good mental spread, some good physical stats in there, and he can tackle. So happy with Joshua Curran. I think he'll slot in quite nicely. Let's get a good pre-season under him and expose him to some games next season. But long term, I'm thinking he might shape up to be quite a good player. It'd be better if he was both fluid, but it can't hold too much against him at this level. Steve Spencer, a striker, wide target forward, not something I've ever really played with. A Welshman, 183 centimetres, brave player, but not the quickest. Not really that great in terms of finishing, but he's got a good work rate. So if we put him as like a pressing forward, he's going to be alright. That's not what we normally play, but we can adapt and overcome. So we would normally do a pressing forward attack. So good bravery and aggression. Actually, work rate, I think there could be a place for Steve Spencer if we play him in a pressing forward role. So again, not a bad little sign in that. A goalkeeper, so Ergi Muka. Again, it's always nice to have a goalkeeper come through. Handling's good, it's probably the best of his stats. Some good spreads, some couple 9s up near communication and aerial reach. But he needs a bit of developing. 16-year-old Kosovan, an ambitious person. It's just when you see that personality, you think, I just need a bit of development out of you, and then you get that. Steve Tracy, an Irish target forward, 2-star current ability already, striker, 183 centimetres tall, good first touch, finishing's not too bad, poor work rate, balanced personality, brave, but he's a target forward, not pressing forward, would he be better? Not really got the work rate for it, so we might have to do a bit of tactical tweaking to maybe get him in the future. We'll see how the pre-season develops and how the rest of the youth intakes from last year, when they come back from loan, fit into the squad. But not bad. Next one is Joud Mbabu, a right midfielder. And this is someone who could give Amoaku a run for his money. Wide target forward. 193 centimetres. So he's a big lump of a player. He's got good acceleration. He's not quick. He's got good jumping reach. He's tall. I mean, not sure on that because it's not the way we play. I won't write him off, but I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. I think he'd probably better be in a target forward up there than he would be on the wing. But he's not very strong. We'll have to see how he develops because I'm not sure about him being a wide target forward. But we'll see. And then last but not least, Inuesa Ouedraogo, who's an advanced midfielder from Birkin Abbey. Good technique, some good mentals in there, quite aggressive player and ambitious again. So a bit of a mixed bag of a youth intake. Let's have a look at them in the squad list filtered for youth candidates. See what we've got in terms of... So we've got a couple, well, 3 that are maybe pushing for some immediate integration into the first team. And then as a spread, I would say down to about there. 8 that are really going to develop, well, maybe 10 that are really going to develop towards a first teamer. And then some that might need a tweak to their development to really make it. How they fit into the whole big picture then. In terms of the potential... I mean, some of them are creeping in there at the top of the list. Steve Tracy, Ouedraogo, Curran and Babu and Muka are looking good. In terms of current ability, the first ones up there is Steve Tracy and Bagu and Ouedraogo. So, again, not a terrible intake. What I'll have to do is I'll play through a minute. I'll get them on some contracts and then I'll plumb them into the squad planner. And we'll see how the squad's shaping up for next season. So bear with me and I'll be back one more time. Welcome back. So this should be the final time I've plumbed them into the squad planner, and as you'll see, certain areas look alright, like goalkeeper. If we can keep a hold of Jack Ruddy, who's a star player, brilliant. We've got a 4-star goalkeeper relative to the squad, I know, so that's good. And we've got some depth and in William Lakin, and then we've got some youngsters coming through, so that's one of the positions that looks alright. However, when you get to left back, James Cockins, who's not really made any appearances for us, he's been out on loan at AFC Dunstable, will be the front runner to Sauer, who's coming in through this youth intake, so that's looking quite weak. Ekpiteta, if we can keep him alongside Lolo Atienza with Elsie and Brophy as backups, isn't looking the strongest in terms of centre half. Right back we'll have Scarlett with Fontas understudying. Then you've got Brophy and a bit of Craig Howard underneath him. Midfield, again, if Shakumbi and Scott, I think they're going to go, in all honesty, leaving us with Josh Curran and Benjamin and Chama. Then in the middle of the park, again, we're going to be down to like Oscar Allen, Schaff and Chama and Ouedraogo. So what we might have to do is play a defensive mid, a flat centre mid and an attacking mid, which I know is a little bit wacky, but that just might be the way we're going to have to go. Right wing, we have 1,000,001 players at right wing. I don't know why we've got so many, but certainly if we had to field 11 right wingers, we'd be all right. Left wing, again, we've got quite a large number of them out there, and then up front, we're going to have Oscar Allen with probably Steve Tracy or someone playing as understudy. So again, I think the next season's going to be the toughest one. Again, let me know in the comment section. I think the players that are going because their contracts are out, and then when I put on top of that the if I can find it, the players who want to go, so Alfie Allen and Chakumbi already want to go as well. I don't think we're going to have anybody left, so it's going to be a very tough season next season. The youth intake has been okay, but it's not solved all our problems. It's solved some of them, but certainly we have some long roads ahead of us before we can say we've got this squad in the position we want with the right number of mid age players. So these ones who came through in the first intake, the Oscar Allens, the Jake Gilders, they're hitting 18. We need to get them to get to like 20, early 20s before we can really say they're ready to be the leaders of the team. We need to keep a hold of the Riley Scotts who want to away, otherwise we're scuppered. So lots to think about, very difficult things ahead of us. The only other thing I need to try and do is get the training upgraded so they can really realise their potential quicker, because if they don't get to their potential quicker, we're going to be stuck in this division for a long time. I know that's the challenge. I know it's part of the game, but I want quicker progress. I don't know. It's tough. But again, I'm still enjoying it. I didn't think we would be where we are in the league. In terms of the club vision, we're attempting to avoid relegation. I think they want top half finish after that, which we're already doing. But I think next season's the big one. So look out for the next episode where I do the end of season review, and we'll probably have the first game of next season, because that should be an interesting episode to see who stays and who goes. And until then, all enjoy yourselves, have a great weekend, and I will see you again soon. Take care.